we can change that from Monday to the next day, Tuesday. It's, January 21st is a federal holiday, Martin Luther King, and February 18th is President's Day, which is another federal holiday. Is it any problem to change it to, I mean, is that up for discussion, or can we talk about it?
This would be the time to discuss it.
Okay. Well, I would prefer to have them on those Tuesdays. I guess I can make a motion to change those dates.
Well, we're just looking at them to put them on the agenda. So all of these resolutions can be discussed this evening. The goal would be to put them on the agenda for the voting meeting,
Okay.
just the next meeting in December.
All right.
So,
is everyone in favor of putting it for next meeting?
and I would suggest putting those changes in for the holidays.
Okay.
Unless anyone else.
Is that 2 or 3?
It's 3. There's another one in November 4th for that kind of change. All right. The next one is.
Yeah, it's November 5th, election day.
Yes. Can we make it
You
the
want to have
6th?
a meeting? We can't have a
Can we
meeting.
have it on the 6th?
What's his now? Sorry.
Well,
Why don't we consider that?
Is that a
and,
committee?
that would be a committee.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Can't do it the week before? The week before?
That would be put a row
Or the week after?
Yeah, they really need for the staff. It really needs to be 2 weeks, and I think in order for us to be effective, it should be that 2-week time. Yeah, I don't know how we would move it otherwise.
I know Wednesday's
So-
Wednesday sometime. Let's fall Monday. It's just difficult for people. I just brought it up. I've been doing it for 2 years, so I'm going to just do it for next year.
Okay. I think the 2 federal holidays make sense.
All right, let's move on to the next item. The next item is the resolution 2012-16 establishes the wage and salary schedule. Do we want to put that on the agenda for next week? For next meeting, I mean?
Yes.
And item C is agenda item 11C, which is appointment to boards and commissions. There's a whole list that everyone received. Do you want to confirm which candidates are scheduled for appointment or reappointment? So that'll be on the agenda. All right. And then the resolution 2012-19 non-uniform pension contributions. I guess we have to approve the resolution which reduces the pension contribution for 2013. Put that on the agenda? Okay. You can do it each year?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to redo that every year.
The next item is the 11A, which is information technology IT service contract for 2013. And you're going to renew that contract? Is that a renewal?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty, yeah, on the IT.
No, I think Andrew's memo was pretty much to the point. It attached a copy of the agreement. We're happy with the result we've been using the last couple of years. And, it changes a $2 an hour change to the hourly rate. The retainer stays the same.
Okay. Item E, oh, we did that. Item F, prescription drug drop-offs. We want to consider that for,
We need to approve that tonight because of timing.
Yeah, I've been in touch with Lee Rush. I think in the last couple of weeks, and he talked about this briefly when he was here 2 weeks ago. and it's a drop box for the police station where you can dispose of prescription pills safely. It's I believe the total cost is $1,200, but 2/3 of that is paid. 1/3 by the district attorney, 1/3 by Mr. Rush's organization, council, or Perkasie would be responsible for $300. The reason, total of 9, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So the reason that we brought it up so quickly tonight is we have an opportunity to be in their brochure and their literature regarding Perkasie as one of 21 municipalities in Bucks County. Mr. Fox, Ray Fox, is here this evening. If anyone from council should have any questions regarding the program, it seems worthwhile. It seems like something we should probably do.
The county has
in
one.
my opinion.
The county has one and it's used a lot frequently. It's really a good program. It's very convenient for people. That's the nice thing about it. All right, so we'll make a motion to approve the initiative supported by the Upper Bucks Healthy Communities, Healthy Youth Coalition.
Excuse me, Barbara, I did have a question
Oh, sorry.
on this. Maybe I missed it on here, but where do the drugs go? I can't collect them.
What happens is when the, I have a pretty loud voice, can you hear me?
No, actually,
Okay.
Mike, just so it's on.
Is this on?
Just hit the.
There you go. What happens is your police department would simply contact the Bucks County Sheriff's Department. Chief McAteer from there will send someone from the staff to your borough, pick it up. It is taken then to the DEA collection site in Philadelphia. And when the drug take-back days are held, whatever the totals are throughout basically a 6-month period of time, they will all get added to the totals at the end that are part of the National Drug Take-Back Days. We've collected 7+ tons of drugs in a total of 4 of those events, including 3,600 pounds at the last event in the fall. So, and that was disposed of by the DEA.
But we don't know what the DEA does.
I'm sorry?
We don't know what the DEA does with it.
They incinerate them.
Thank you.
Chief,
Yes, go ahead.
do we occasionally have these drop boxes advertised in the springtime at the station?
Yes, we are involved in the national take-back twice a year. We've been involved.
So this would be something permanent then?
This would be a permanent.
And it's pretty good. Obviously turnout, but if you get a lot of prescription drugs in there when you guys do it twice a year.
When we do it twice a year, yes, we do.
The idea here is what this prevents is the person who doesn't want to wait till the National Drug Take-Back Day comes up again and they flush it down the toilet. And it ends up in our water supply. So this prevents that. And the important thing with it then is to continually advertise that your borough has it so that people use it.
Call the question, Mr. Chairman.
Is the drop-off box in the police station now?
No, there's none now.
Has to be approved.
If you want to make a motion.
Okay. Motion to approve the initiative sponsored by the Upper Bucks Healthy Communities, Healthy Youth Coalition to secure and place a prescription drug collection box in the vestibule of the police station to be used by community residents to discard unwanted or expired prescriptions, over-the-counter, and other unused household medication. Borough Council also supports the expenditure of $300 towards the partial cost of acquiring this device and accepts the additional contribution by the Upper Bucks Healthy Communities Healthy Youth Coalition in the Bucks County District Attorney's Office. I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments or questions, council? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have pension, excess interest. That was a memo from Finance Director Joe Berardi concerning excess interest in the police and non-uniform pension plans. And the recommendation is to distribute the interest as a % of the individual account balances in equal proportions. That'll be for the next agenda.
Yes, we just want to get a consensus as to whether you would agree with the recommendation. You can make it, there are a number of combinations you can make as Joe pointed out in his memo, we've done this periodically on a case-by-case basis when it comes up. PMRS is saying that we have to do that now and change the plan permanently so that if there is excess interest, and there's not presently, but if there is, how it would be allocated, rather than do it on a case-by-case basis. So we can get a consensus as to how we want to approach that.
Well, I think equal proportions makes sense for me. That's my opinion.
That's what I heard.
Okay. Do we have any new business? No? Okay.
Good job. Thank you, Barbara. Finance Committee, Councilor Steve Algio, Chair, Florence Fry, Barbara Krantz, Matt Michael, and Steve Gazzola. Steve?
Thank you, Matt. First item is the appointment of the auditor for 2012 budget year. Everybody got that information in your packet. Is there any questions about that? So that all on the agenda. Next is the consider increase in real estate tax collector fees.
Does anybody have a question on it?
Yes, no, I don't have a choice in that. Am I correct?
No, you.
We do. Yes, I have a question. I'd like to know why there's such a disparity here between the municipalities and what the fee is based on. Is it based on millage? Is it based on how much the tax is per parcel? Or, what is this based on?
It's not based.
Well, once again, our tax collectors in attendance this evening. Ms. Pat, if you'd like to come up and here's a chance to maybe ask some questions.
Yeah, we have to answer questions.
Yes, what's this, what is it based on? How do you formulate a charge? Is it, yeah.
I'm not sure when it began, but I know since I've been tax collector, the compensation has been based on a per bill collected or liened basis. And in 2006, when I took office, the fee was $3 per tax bill collected or liened. The last increase to the tax collector for that compensation was the term prior, which I think was 2001, when the fee was $2.50. After my first term, the compensation was to be negotiated and set again. I felt that it was important not to contribute to the expense of the borough, so I foregone any request for an increase. So essentially, the tax collector has not had an increase in pay in over 11 years. And at this point, based upon some communications with our attorney on the school district lawsuit, he suggested that we communicate with our municipalities, discuss the compensation, and see where we were at with it. And if you look at the compensation from the past, there was no increase. The history was that I could see there were 50-cent increases every 4-year term. And that stopped around 2001. And there has been no increase since then. The methodology behind requesting $4.50 per tax bill was taking into consideration those incremental steps every term for the past 12 years that has been no increase. So it looks like a very large increase from $3 to $4.50. Essentially, it's not. And if you compare the compensation to surrounding municipalities, municipal tax collectors, Perkasie Borough is the lowest compensated tax collector. There are, I think, 3 or 4 municipalities that base the pay to the tax collector on a percentage of the taxes collected. Personally, my feeling is I'm not crazy about that method, because if the municipality were to increase their millage rate, the tax collector's pay would increase. And thus it's kind of harder to use for budget purposes for your 4-year term. Whereas once the compensation is set before the primary elected year, it is the same for those 4 years and it cannot be changed until the next term.
Yes, I can see there's such a disparity here between Sellersville, for instance, is $16.86 per parcel.
Yes.
And do you know how they formulate their fee?
Yes, Sellersville Borough has approximately 1,000 parcels less than we do here. I have approximately 3,000, it's a little less than that. Sellersville Borough has about 1,000 less than us. But Sellersville Borough pays their tax collector based on a percentage of the taxes collected. I'm not sure what their millage rate is, but I know it's much higher than Perkasie Borough. And they do increase that when they need to generate more revenue. So I think, and then when you take that percentage that she makes, which would essentially be a salary, and you divide that among her parcels, that's what she's paid per bill to collect.
All right, I appreciate that information. Thank you.
I have a question of clarification. When you say percentage of taxes collected, and it's based on their millage rate, or is it based on the value of the properties?
It's based on the total dollar amount of the duplicate that the tax collector is charged to collect. So it's everybody's property tax bill in a face amount.
Okay, so it's based, in other words, if your tax base increases as a borough, then the tax collector's pay would increase if they're on a percentage basis.
Exactly.
It's not so much the millage rate.
No, your millage rate just sets your tax amount.
So it's really the assessed value of the property. But if the tax base increases,
the 5% that Sellersville Borough is paid is not based on the total dollar amount of property assessments in that borough. That's based on the total dollar amount of the tax duplicate. So, for example...
So she doesn't collect something, she doesn't get a percentage?
That I'm not sure. You have to inquire with Mr. Berardi.
But I think there's a few of those. Aren't they the fewer numbers? Most
I was actually surprised that there are many municipalities that still pay that way. But we have about 3 or 4 in the Penridge School District that pay that way.
Pay that way? Joe, did you do any research on the previous increases or not increases prior to 2001?
Not prior to 2001, no.
Do we have those records again?
I can
I'm
check.
just curious how long it was steady like that.
I can check and see if Julie knows all the information.
We can check. I'm sure we have those records.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it.
The furthest I've gone back was 1998. That's the furthest resolutions I have.
Mr. Juniper? Mr. Juniper?
Mr. Juniper, I believe, was his first term, and his tax compensation at the time was $2 per bill, and then it was increased in 2001 to $3. It was $2.50, and then it was increased to $3. So since 2001, it's been $3.
I wonder how many taxable parcels we have. I'm sure there's not that much.
2,900.
No, I mean, way back then, I don't think there's that much of an increase. Okay. All right.
Matt, question. What does the postage pay?
Actually, it's your meeting, Steve.
Okay. What does the postage pay? 50%?
Postage payment? Okay, every year in the springtime, when I'm giving my duplicate by the county and the borough, they come out at the same time. So the tax bills are both mailed on March 1st. And what we historically have done is combine the county and the municipality bill in one bill. And we share the cost between the county and the borough or the township, so that you're not paying the whole postage and the bill printing. So it's a good split.
Thank you.
What do you charge for a tax cert?
Tax certification is the same as it's been. I don't know the last resolution. It's kind of old, like $10 per tax year certified.
Wow, that's pretty low. Does the borough have to make a motion or pass an ordinance for you to increase that fee?
They do, but I have not come before them to change it because typically the mortgage companies and the title companies request 3 years of me. So when I give them a 3-year tax cert, they're charged $30.
But how does that compare to the other surrounding tax collectors?
I'm not sure what the methodology is for other municipalities, but I know that most tax collectors, they get between $25 and $40
Per year?
for certifications.
Oh, per
Some
certification.
municipalities don't resolve that.
Okay.
They can charge per
I
tax
thought
year.
most of them got 25 or 30.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if anybody still makes 25. I know 8 years ago, that's what I had heard from other municipalities. I'm not sure what they do now.
It's not up to the tax collector to charge whatever they want. They have to go through council for the certification.
Yes. The municipality must set any rate that a fee is charged by the tax collector.
the tax collector usually makes a recommendation, and then the council agrees or not. That's the way it works.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Matt, whether we do put that on the agenda or?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it's a good idea to put it on the agenda. I also think it's something that council should be looking at on a regular basis so that, you know, whether it's a 25% every 2 years or whatever number council decides to come up with, we can look at it on a regular basis instead of being hit with a 50% increase. I just think it's more prudent to look at this over time and evaluate it. I think it's a fair gesture to the tax collector as well. So my opinion would be a strong opinion would be to put it on the agenda.
I agree. So we agreeable with that? Yeah. Okay. Next item is the resolution 2012-17, the 2013 consolidated fee schedule. Is there any questions about that? Or are there any questions? Hearing none, put that on the agenda.
I have a question about the engineering fees. What are the changes on that?
I think it went from 107 to 110. I don't have last year's in front of me, but I think it went up, I think that's right, 107 to 110.
Okay.
And he didn't change it, I think, the year, 2 years before that.
Go to the next item, Steve.
Okay. Next is tax ordinance number 960. And it's necessary to approve the real estate tax by ordinance each year. And the tax is a draft for this year, which is unchanged from last year. Any questions about that? We'll put that on the agenda. And last, well not next, but resolution 2012-18, adoption of the final budget. The final budget is scheduled to be adopted December 17th. And is a proposed resolution to accomplish that adoption. Are there any questions about that? Hearing none, is there any other business under the finance? Hearing none, back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Steve. Economic Development Committee, Councilors Barbara Krantz, Jim Purcell, Matt Eidlinger, and Justin Stock. Barbara? If you have something like Constituent Outreach Committee, Councilors Jim Ryder, Steve Zola, and Justin Stock.
Yeah, just right now, we just want to, this is really feedback, we just want to, we have the next meeting, I'd like to set for January 16th, 2013. It's a Wednesday.
If I could just make a comment, Jim, I just wanted to report back. I know there was a lot of concerns about what's going to happen to fish. I did attend the PRA meeting and brought that forth. I was assured by the board that there is nobody that is under contract for the building as of right now. We have a couple interested parties. Fish has not been told a definite time when they have to be out at all. And in fact, also, the board assured that any interested parties, they're trying to work with them, and so far there's been a couple interested parties, and nobody's really objected to them staying in that building, provided somebody can take that building over. So it's all good news for Fish. So.
Thank you, Justin. Anything else, Jim? Great.
Yeah, I want someone at that meeting questioned whether or not the electric company should be looking into co-mingled generation, gas generation with Quakertown. The Public Utility Committee has been looking into that along with our staff over the last year. And so far up to this point, it's not financially feasible to do that. So we have to look at it. Thank you.
All right, Jim. Thanks. Anyone Hearing none, we'll go to other business. Appointments to the Quality of Life Task Force. We talked about this at the last meeting, Council, and I appreciate your support for this endeavor. This time, I'd like to appoint Steve Algio, Suzanne Kravitz, and Justin Stotler as committee members. And I'd also like to appoint Lee Rush from the community as a committee member. Council, I'd like to suggest that we have set a work schedule meeting for January, or we'll schedule a working session in January where we can discuss adopting a structure and crafting a mission for this group. So look for dates within the next 2 weeks. Any other new businesses this evening, Council? Hearing none, we'll go into our second public forum. If anyone would like to come forward, again, please state your name, address, keep your comments about 3 minutes.
Susan Green, 624 East Walnut Street. First of all, I would just say how wonderful Perkasie tree lighting was, and you couldn't even walk. There were so many people, so that was really nice to see. Still waiting to see if Mr. Boris, who we're talking about hiring as Main Street manager, is coming up with a plan. I mean, he showed us what he did for Hatboro, but I'm still waiting for him to come back here and show us what his plans would be if we would hire him. So that would be really nice to see, because I don't want to hire somebody without seeing a plan. I mean, I just don't think that's a good idea. You know, I mean, once he's in, if he's not doing anything, then after 6 months or a year, you get rid of him. But I would really like to see what his ideas are. And anybody that was going to apply for the position should have ideas other than putting up a sign this way to Perkasie. So, if you could let us know when he's coming back, that would be great. Thanks.
Anyone else this evening?
Rebecca Militic, 254 North 4th Street. I actually really wanted to say thank you that you went and extended out to fish. I do, as you know, believe that they are a very good resource to keep here in Perkasie. I also really want to congratulate you on taking the prescription drug box a little bit further. You know, the teenagers in high school, when, you know, dad has an accident, he's on heavy-duty medications. When he's not taking them anymore and they're still sitting in that medicine cabinet, you got a 17-year-old who wants to experiment, and it's there. Dad can take this, drop it off, and it's out of that house and out of reach of our teenagers. I think this is a great thing to consider. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening? Hearing none. Anything from the press? Council, with that, we will be going into an executive session. Nate?
Council will be convening an executive session, first to discuss a police department employment matter. Council is permitted to discuss any matter involving the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation or performance, promotion or disciplining of any specific prospective public officer, employee, or current public officer or employee employed or appointed by the agency or former public officer or employee, provided, however, that the individual employees or appointees whose rights could be adversely affected may request in writing that the matter of matters be discussed in an open meeting. The agency's decision to discuss such matters in executive session shall not serve to adversely affect the due process rights granted by law, including those granted by Title II relating to administrative law procedure. The provisions of this paragraph shall not apply to any meeting involving the appointment or selection of any person to fill a vacancy in any elected office. That's under Section 708A1 of Pennsylvania Sunshine Law. Council will also be discussing litigation matter connected to the marina incident. And council is permitted to discuss this under Section 708A2, which allows council to consult with its attorney or other professional advisor